Just as I regained my past life memories, a tall and handsome middle-aged man with blonde hair across from me wanted to kill me. I calmly dealt with it, and after a while, I realized that I was getting tired. The beginning is hell. Completed 4 high-quality Douluo texts with over 10,000 titles. Douluo. Stealing the world system, Dupo. Ibao system, people in Douluo. Tricking the little dance soul ring, and conquering the world from the leaf of wood, keywords of the novel. Douluo. Beginning of hell, begging to marry Bibidong, no pop-ups, Douluo. Beginning of hell, begging to marry Bibidong, complete collection, download TXT, Douluo. Beginning of hell, begging to marry Bibidong, latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. The Beginning of Hell, new book for collection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. The Beginning of Hell, new book for collection, the Papal Palace. Conference Hall. Damn it, why did I ask the Pope to marry me in a daze? I just crossed over, still so young and handsome, I'm about to finish playing. And it's still in the form of licking dogs. In the thousands of square meters of the Grand Council Hall, a young man was clutching his temples with a headache, as if encountering something distressing. This young man looks only 18 or 19 years old and has a very handsome appearance. He is dressed in a bright fiery red slim-fitting robe, with long hair like a waterfall, pure black pupils without any impurities, a tall and heroic nose, and impeccable facial features combined together. If placed on a blue star in a previous life, any woman who sees him will briefly lose consciousness. Zongji is a graceful and beautiful young man, holding a cup and looking at the blue sky with white eyes, as bright as a jade tree in front of the wind. It's not excessive to describe him with these poetic lines. But at this moment, Qin Xian frowned, his eyes flickering, and he looked around at the magnificent embellishments, unable to feel happy at all. At the end of the day. Or it's because he's not from this world. Prior to this, he was actually an ordinary young man living on Blue Star in the 21st century. With lofty aspirations and full of passion. Before he could exert his strength, it turned positive. Well, the kind that never wakes up. Wait until you open your eyes again and come into a strange world. Sitting in front of him was a middle-aged man with a majestic expression. 2 elderly men with deep breath guard around. He has a tall and burly figure, dressed in luxurious battle armor with golden wing patterns, wearing a 9-curved purple gold crown on his head, fair skin, and a handsome face. A pair of golden pupils made him look so unique. Especially the faint golden light bathed on the surface of the body, exuding an intangible majesty and sacredness, which makes people unable to resist worshipping and yearning for and awe in their hearts. Before Qin Xian could familiarize himself with the world, a majestic pressure began with middle-aged people and swept over his entire body. Put on, the next second, he was crushed and knelt down on one knee. Sweating profusely. Originally. The 3 people in front of him are the current Pope Qianshuan of the Martial Soul Hall, as well as the dragon suit titled Douluo that Tang Hao hammered to death and disability without even mentioning its name in the original work. And I am a member of the Martial Soul Hall. He can also be considered a proud son of heaven. In the Martial Soul Hall, his talent is second only to Bibidong, who possesses twin martial souls. Due to the special nature of the martial soul, it was enshrined as a disciple by the elder Hall Qianjun and the demon Subduing, who were kept in seclusion for years. My predecessor was a crush on Saint Bibidong, and when I saw Bibidong flirting with a useless person named Prisoner's Anal all day, my head heated up and I ran alone to the papal hall. At the moment when he awakened his memories of his past life, he proposed to the Pope and requested that Chihiro Ji assign his disciple Bibidongshu to him. It was too late for Qin Xian to react. Who is Qianshuan Ji, a scumbag who can even strengthen his own disciples? Even Qin, who we consider abnormal, thinks he is abnormal. In order to retain Bibidong, this white-eyed wolf. Not hesitate to use force, but what methods are not good for you, do you have to be strong? Just say, Bibidong, you don't want to get into trouble with your little anus, do you? Isn't that okay? Do you dare to betray the martial soul hall even more than Bibidong? Or either take back everything given to her by the martial soul hall, abolish her cultivation, or simply kill her with one blow. This is always stronger than Bibidong, making her stay in the martial soul hall with hatred and planting a time bomb to come. Must it be so extreme? At the end of the day, it's still Chihiro's illness. It's too abnormal, with a twisted psychological state. He greedily treats his disciples like tools for reproduction. Although a man may crave it, he is your disciple. Thinking of this, Qin Xian couldn't help but want to slap his predecessor's big mouth. When it's not good, you have to be a licking dog. Having a long body and legs, wide shoulders and thin waist, handsome appearance, and exceptional talent. At only 19 years old, the soul power reached level 50.4. Qian Jun and Xiang Mo, who have been locked down in the Elders' Hall for years, have been enshrined and taken as disciples in an unconventional way. This kind of strength and talent, even if not comparable to the Shit Lake 7 monsters that Bidong and Future have taken immortal grass to hang, is still much better than the so-called golden generation of the martial soul palace. Unfortunately, every time in front of Bibi's East, he always looks humble and licking a dog. Not daring to pursue openly is enough. When Nima was a licking dog, she was afraid that Bibidong would get angry, so she had to guard her against flirting with Yuxiawanis. No wonder Bibidong doesn't like it. Nima. This appearance. Even if I were myself, I wouldn't be interested. I really lick the dog too much, it will only break its teeth and swallow it in its stomach. In the end, he even foolishly ran to Qiang Sunji to propose marriage. Isn't there any pressure? What does Bibidong like? Why would you take a liking to the Jade anus? Anyone who has read Douluo's original works knows. As the heavenly fairy of the martial soul palace, no matter where she goes, the world is respectful and respectful. In addition, Qianshuan disease strictly guards against outstanding peers and opposite sexes. Protected too well. This left Bibidong almost completely blank in terms of emotions and unfamiliarity with worldly affairs. Yuxiawanis, born into the blue electric Tyrannosaurus rex family, is a waste with both inferiority and arrogance, and his soul power stops at level 29 for life. It will make Chihiro relax his vigilance. When facing Bibidong, he was able to remain calm and read a few more books, showing off his knowledge, which aroused Bibidong's interest, and then took advantage of the opportunity to lure away Bibidong's soul. If you really want to marry Bibidong, wouldn't it be good to go directly to the 2 worshipping teachers in the Elder Hall? Previously, he had a talent second only to Bibidong's twin martial souls, and had 2 high-ranking figures, Qian Jun and Demon Subduing, enshrined as guardians in the Elders' Hall. Qian Douluo was still happy to see it succeed, and even as the Pope, Qian Shuji had no reason to refuse. It's all right now. Chihiro Ji, who regarded Bibidong as a forbidden domain, clearly had a murderous heart. Whether we can leave the papal palace now is a question. Although I still have 2 cheap teachers as my backers, their most loyal ones are still the Martial Soul Hall and the Angel Clan. Even if Chihiro really killed himself, I'm afraid those 2 would at most talk about it, and then Chihiro would verbally educate him a few words. Chihiro still has nothing to do and firmly holds the position of Pope. Waiting to be severely damaged by Tang Ritien, and finally devoured by Bibidong. Alas, it's useless to say anything now. If only my memory had been restored earlier. My Donger, Ian, Schwer, Juqing, some of you haven't even been born yet, and Brother Xian, I might have to finish playing. At this moment, Qianshuan Ji did indeed have a murderous heart. The vast conference hall is terrifyingly quiet. Only Qin Xian could bear the sound of his soul pressing against his bones and the sound of Qianshuan Ji's fingers tapping on the armrest of the throne. If Qin Xian is just an ordinary talented member of the Martial Soul Hall, just give it a lesson, and the other party will never dare again. Unfortunately, he had two powerful and high-ranking worship teachers. He knows the importance that those two worshippers place on Qin Xian. Even his father Qiandao Lu has high hopes for him. With the relationship between my father Qiandao Lu and those two, it's possible that he could actually agree to this matter. If the two most talented men and women of the younger generation in the martial soul hall could be together, it would be considered a perfect match. Bibidong is his forbidden domain and his hope for the growth of the angelic clan. He must give birth to the offspring of gifted demons for the angelic clan. No one is allowed to touch their fingers. Even though there are two elder temples standing behind it for worship. P.S. New books require recommendation tickets and collections pushing a wave of old books. Douluo. Stealing the world system, Dupo. Ibao system, people in Douluo. Tricking little dances Soul Ring, conquering the world from Muyi, these are all excellent books. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The City of Killing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The City of Killing. Just as Qianshuan Ji was planning to kill Qin Xian in pain, a sudden voice rang out. Under the crown of the Pope, I know I am not worthy of Her Highness the Virgin Mary, but I have perseverance, so I have decided to go to the capital of slaughter and obtain the realm of the god of killing. Without success, I will never return. Qin Xian looked up with difficulty, feeling Qian Shuanji's undisguised killing intent. He gritted his teeth and looked straight at the former, resolute and resolute. With one's current strength, it is definitely impossible to venture into the capital of slaughter. Qin Xian is not like Tang San and Hu Liena, who are secretly escorted by two killing gods, as well as having head soul bones, external attached soul bones, and Tang Sek's unique skills. If you run into the level 50 or above, you will definitely die without any life. He has already planned to leave the martial soul hall and hide for a few years. Along the way, he will plan a known opportunity. If he is forced into the capital of slaughter by Qianshuan Ji, he can still live for a few more years, right? It's better to live than to die. It's better than being stared at by the venomous snake Qiang Sunji all day. Unless he hides in the Elder's Hall like a dog and doesn't come out, he will have to finish playing sooner or later. Qianshuan was taken aback and ventured into the capital of slaughter. Immediately reacting, the soul pressure covering Qin Xian dissipated, and a flash of light flashed through those golden pupils. Are you serious? His majestic and calm voice echoed in the conference hall, and he asked in a deep voice. It would be best not to offend the two worshippers. Although even if they kill Qin Xian, those two won't do anything to him, there will always be a rift, and it's not easy for Father Qiandaoliu to explain it. This is not conducive to his rule over the martial soul hall. As for whether Qin Xian can break into the capital of slaughter, it's not something he should be concerned about anymore. Because even his title Douluo doesn't have full confidence. Simply put, it means staying at a high position for a long time. Fear of death. Tang Hao, who was hailed as the first genius in the 100 years of the Haotian sect, obtained the domain of killing gods a few years ago. Although Qin Xian has extraordinary talents, there is still a considerable gap between him and Tang Hao, who possesses the world's most powerful martial soul, not to mention his soul power is far lower than his opponent. Upon hearing this, Qin Xian saw a play. Immediately, he possessed the essence of the play, nodded heavily, and said firmly, "Yes, Your Majesty the Pope, I am willing to sacrifice my heart for His Highness the Virgin, for the Hall of Martial Souls, and for the Pope." Qin Xian stood up with his waist straight, his right hand clenched his fist, and lightly pounded his heart, like a peerless sword unsheathed. Legacy and independence. Okay, since you have this heart, then this seat will fulfill you. If you can obtain the realm of killing gods, why not betroth Donger to you? Qiang Sunji waved his hand and let go of his bold words. Thank you for your coronation. Qin Xian is retiring. Qin Xian pretended to be excited and bowed in gratitude, then left in fear. There's no way, before having enough strength, the top priority is to save one's life. A pervert who can even strengthen his own disciple cannot guarantee that this guy will do anything wrong. After Qin Xian left, the main hall has regained that silent atmosphere. Crown, this kid is not weak in talent. You just showed your killing intent towards him again, so I believe this kid also noticed. Why not? One of the popes personally guarded Douluo and made a motion of wiping his neck. Cut down the grass and eradicate the roots. Yeah, Crown Prince, this kid is trying to get his hands on the Holy Maiden. We can't let him go. Another close guardian Douluo agrees with Dao. As a close guardian Douluo, the absolute confidant of the Pope, how could he not know the little bit of trouble in Chihiro Ji's heart? In their view, Qin Xian, this kid, with some talent, dares to marry a saint, it's like the way to die. Do you think he can leave the capital of slaughter? Qianshuan hurriedly walked to the window, clenching his fists with his hands on his back. He had a slender and upright posture, with an evil and cold face. A cold and gloomy aura that was vastly different from its appearance lingered for a long time, and even direct sunlight could not dispel it. The two close guardians Douluo were taken aback, looking at each other and shaking their heads. Like Qianshu and Ji, they also did not believe that Qin Xian could leave the capital of slaughter. Because soul skills cannot be used in that place, let alone Qin Xian, a small soul king. It is extremely difficult for Soul Douluo and even the title Douluo to break free from the capital of slaughter. Otherwise, only 7 people would have succeeded for 1,000 years. The two close guards grinned and knelt down on one knee, flattering, Your Majesty, even those two have nothing to say. For the flattery of his subordinates, Qianshuan Ji was clearly well received and pursed his lips. But still hummed softly. Humph. The worship is only loyal to my father, loyal to my angel lineage, and that kid was trained by my martial soul hall. Even if I kill him directly, why bother me? The two close guardians Douluo heard the words and lowered their heads with a bitter smile, not daring to refute. Don't look at them talking about killing Qin Xian. But that was all based on the orders of Chihiro. If they really dare to openly attack Qin Xian, with the respect that those two worshippers have for Qin Xian, they may not have good fruit to eat. You should know that there is also a significant gap between the titles of Douluo. Feeling the emotional changes between the two, as the Pope, Chihiro was not foolish and naturally knew their concerns. After pondering for a moment, he continued, but to avoid long dreams at night, let moon pass and the ghost personally send that kid to the capital of slaughter tomorrow morning. The Papal Mountain is a majestic peak, like a giant sword forged by heaven and earth, steep and majestic, soaring straight into the sky. The Papal Palace stands tall above it. Only the Pope, his disciples, the personal guardians of Douluo, and his direct red bishops are eligible to settle in. Usually, disciples of the Martial Soul Hall are scattered and reside in the Martial Soul City. Only elders or the Pope can summon and pass through communication before entering. Qin Xian's residence is located in the neighborhood near the Pope's mountain. Due to being enshrined as disciples by Qian Jun and Xiang Imo, he spends most of his time practicing in the Elders' Hall. Until he was far away from the Papal Hall, Qin Xian dared to stop and take a long breath of relief. Damn it, it scared the labor and management to death. Qin Xian turned his head to look at the Papal Hall, written in Douluo consonant script on the plaque, and a hint of confusion flashed in his eyes with emotion. But it's not yet time to give up on oneself. The top priority. He wants to protect himself. First of all, he needs to bring back his soul power, soul skills, and combat skills. Otherwise, it's just a shell without cultivation, not to mention that in the future, he will slay Tang San, abuse the Jade anus, destroy the Haotian sect, marry Bai Fume, and reach the pinnacle of his life. There's no need for the protagonist to act, any soul king can kill him. Halfway up the mountainside of the Pope's mountain, Qin Xian walked alone into the depths of the forest, confirming that there was no one around before summoning his martial soul. The red light on the right hand surged, and a uniquely shaped, all-red sword with a sealed magical pattern on the surface flickered with blood-red lightning arcs, resembling an ancient long sword intertwined with flames. At the same time, there emerged the five-circle soul ring representing the cultivation of the Soul King. Qin Xian had innate full soul power and was also one of the two disciples worshipped in the martial soul hall. The soul ring was naturally the best configuration. Yellow, yellow, purple, purple, and black. The fiery sword energy containing terrifying thunder instantly filled the world, and the surrounding temperature slightly increased. Slightly. A phoenix roar echoed through the sky, and the sword energy attached to it turned into a vermilion bird, spreading its wings and soaring in the sky. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 Martial Soul. Changming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Martial Soul. Changming, this is my martial soul, which is sealed with the ancient exotic beast vermilion bird's Changming sword. Qin Xian held the long sword in his hand and was excited. Under the control of his mind, the exotic beast vermilion bird let out a low cry and circled in the air before diving into the sword. Inject one soul power into the martial soul. I saw the long sword in my hand flickering red. There is a red thunder beating. The first yellow soul ring lights up, and there is no need for deliberate memory, so one can consciously integrate and connect. The first soul skill is to break through the sky with a sword. Attack power and speed instantly increase by 50%. The attack range increases with the increase of cultivation. Qin Xian wanted to see how powerful it was, so he casually swiped it. Who knew this stroke could scare people to death, with a dazzling sword light? The previous vermilion bird broke through the air and transformed into a crescent-shaped slash about 2 meters long, as if a blood-colored lightning bolt was instantly released from his palm. He blinked and closed his eyes to protect the titanium alloy dog's eyes. Open it again. I saw that the ground was also struck by lightning, instantly cutting out a deep ditch. It is about 7 or 8 zhang long and more than half a meter deep. There are still burnt marks on both sides of the ditch. At the end, a giant stone weighing over 1,000 pounds separated from the center and exploded with a loud bang. Sleeping trough. Qin Xian's face remained expressionless, but his heart was filled with excitement. Overlord side leakage. Undoubtedly, he is the younger generation of the martial soul hall, just like a character from Bibidong. Soul King cultivation. Just the power of the first soul skill is so great, no wonder it can be taken as a disciple by those two worshippers who have sealed the ancient evil dragon martial soul coiled dragon staff. After he diligently cultivates and trains for another 10 or 20 years, he will become the title Douluo. Not to mention being invincible at the same level, he should not speak much about dealing with Qianshuan disease. Yes. I only hope to be able to beat Qianshuan Ji with the same level of cultivation. Instead of being invincible at the same level. There is a bug in the Dasumi hammer. With the same level of cultivation, there are not many people who are confident in defeating Tang Ritian 1.1.1. In most cases, it is still necessary to rely on strategy to win. For example, coughing and coughing, let alone being targeted by the old pervert Qianshuan Ji, whether he can survive or not is an unknown number. He knows how much he weighs. Although my talent is good. If there is no self-created soul skill or soul bone that can be mastered, it is simply impossible to defeat Soul Saint and even Soul Douluo in the ghost place of the capital of slaughter without using soul skills. Are you really going to run away? But that may only lead to more following Chihiro's wishes. With that abnormal desire for control, we will never tolerate anyone to touch Bibidong, even if we want to. Yuxiawanas's useless person has Bibidong's sworn protection, but he doesn't. 80% of them will label the accused as traitors and send people to pursue them. He was afraid that as soon as he left, he would send someone to kill him from behind. Afterwards, Qianjun and Xiangma asked, if Qianshuan Ji doesn't want to say anything, just say it. The beginning is hell. I really don't want to play like this. Is it difficult to find those two cheap teachers to demand soul bones, or delay the time to go to the capital of slaughter? Or why not go at all? Going is definitely necessary. Looking back on Qianjun and the demon conqueror, with their temperament, although they may worry about themselves. But if you don't go, you may be expelled from the school on the spot. For the present, the only solution is to demand the soul bones, especially the head soul bones, which lack sufficient spiritual support and cannot resist the strong killing aura floating in the air of the capital of slaughter. Just as Qin Xian was thinking about how to speak to Qianjun and the demon, a sudden female voice rang out in his mind. Ding! The system energy has been successfully absorbed. Ding! Load the current world template. Ding! Detect for living organisms. Ding! Binding organisms. Ding! Binding successful. Ding! The big villain system is dedicated to serving you. Automatically open the host's personal panel. Qin Xian. Age. 19-inch martial soul. Changming sword cultivation. Level 54-inch soul ring configuration. Yellow yellow purple purple black physical level. Soul King spirit level. Soul King talent. S+ self-created soul skill. None emotional value. 0-inch blind box. 0-inch The system is here. Did the god of crossing hear my roast? I have read too many reincarnation articles about a certain point of time travel. Qin Xian made up his mind that if one day he woke up and found himself lying in a strange place, he would never shout foolishly like Yi Xiaochuan, "Are you filming a TV drama?" The props and setting are so realistic. This kind of foolish, seeking inner security. Or it could be shouting loudly after receiving the golden finger like a silly urban text. This is how I first restored my past life memories. He just flipped through the system with his mind as if nothing had happened. The big villain system is quite novel, as it involves triggering an event and then obtaining rewards from someone or a location. Qin Xian guessed in his heart that he found this so-called big villain system to be very simple. There is only one system panel, mall, and large carousel. The system panel does not need to be brought up. The mall can also be understood, with a wide variety of props inside, ranging from soul rings, pills, various props, to deities. Everything except soul bones. However, these are all auxiliary items that do not directly enhance cultivation and strength. Not considering deities or similar things is too far away. Qin Xian fell in love at a glance, with masks of thousands of people and faces, clothes of phoenix fire, and resurrection coins. 1,000 people and 1,000 faces can change one's appearance and aura. Phoenix fire is a clothing item with soul power, which is not stained with dust. It has defensive power when attacked and can automatically repair damage. It can prevent knife and sword piercing and miasma. You can freely change styles. There is also the effect of disguising martial souls and soul rings. Resurrection coin. Resurrects at full health 10 minutes after the host's death. At the same time, those who died within a month can be resurrected, and the death target is 100% loyal to the host. The importance of resurrection coins goes without saying. With 1,000 people and 1,000 faces, and phoenix fire, he can leave the martial soul hall. De Ku can wait for Qinshuan's illness to die before finding a way to return. Or perhaps simply not returning. Free and open up a whole new life. Unfortunately, it takes 10,000 emotional points to complete the game. Phoenix fire is even more expensive, costing 50,000 yuan. I can't do it for now. As for resurrection, 1 million emotions are worth 1 coin, which is no longer just a matter of whether it is expensive or not, but simply unaffordable. It's just a third-level deity, with only 5 million emotional points. The big wheel is a popular lottery draw. Rewards are random. Consume 1000 emotional points each time and refresh the reward every 2 years. Extract at most once a month and can be stacked. You can randomly select soul bones, immortal herbs, and even elixirs to enhance cultivation, as well as various bizarre techniques. It's just a matter of probability. Whether it's a shopping mall or a big carousel, it requires the consumption of emotional value. However, what is this emotional value? Qin Xian reopened the system panel, fixed his gaze on the last column of emotional value, and asked in his heart, "System, how can I obtain this emotional value?" Ding. Just bind the characters who are opposite to the host. Both the big injustice and the big injustice can generate resentment and earn emotional points. The higher the popularity of opposing characters in Douluo's original work, the greater the emotional value they gain. The character's death will no longer generate emotional values. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. First encounter of Jade Small Anal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. First encounter of Jade Small Anal Qin Xian. Tang Hao Yuxiawanas. The names of two people came to mind in Qin Xian's mind. In this era where the little rascal has not yet been born, these two guys are the only ones who can pull wool. Oh, by the way, it comes with a Chihiro disease. However, Qiang Sunji has an extreme Douluo father and is also the Pope of the Martial Soul Hall. Since exposing his killing intent, he has been on the death list. There is a saying that, seeking illness without death, Qin Xian is restless. That's the truth. What kind of ghost is that blind box? How can I obtain it? Qin Xian continued to ask. You can obtain happiness blind boxes by making the goddess happy, with a maximum of 5 for each object. They cannot be obtained repeatedly. The level of happiness blind boxes is from high to low, diamond/gold/silver/bronze/black iron. Get a blind box if your favorability reaches 70 or above. Get a blind box if your favorability reaches 80 or above. Get a blind box if your favorability reaches 90 or above. Get a blind box when your favorability reaches 100. When Dad obtains a blind box only applicable to the original goddess of Douluo, the higher the goddess's talent, the greater the chance of obtaining a high-level blind box. As a father, one must obtain a diamond blind box. Qin Xian felt a moment of silence in his heart. What strange setting is this? It's better to change your name to Love System than to let yourself fall in love. With a sigh, the system prompt sounded again, ding. Detected opposing characters and playable goddesses, please bind the host as soon as possible. At the same time, there was a faint sound of trampling on dead branches. In fact, the voice was far away, but now he is a soul master with clear and sensitive senses, making it difficult to detect it or not. Qin Xian looked at the deep ditch on the ground, took his martial soul into his body, and hid his figure deeper into the green leaves. The footsteps were getting closer and closer, and more than one person came. Sure enough. After a moment. The first appearance is a face that seems to have its own soft light and high brightness. A young man in his 20s or 30s, of average height, slightly thin, with slightly thick lips, black hair parted in the middle, and a shy expression. In terms of appearance, in the world of Douluo continent, which is generally high in appearance, it is not outstanding, but it is also not bad. But the first one to sound was a clear and delicate voice of a young girl. Little anus, look, there's such a big ditch on the ground here. Upon hearing these words, Qin Xian hid in the dark and almost stumbled on the soles of his feet. Compared to youth, young girls have a much younger appearance, around the age of 20. Qin Xian was momentarily stunned. Although he recognized the other person's identity, he had never seen such a beautiful woman in his past life. This snow-white skin has a beautiful face without any flaws, perfect body lines, a proportion of 10 heads, shining eyes with shadows, and most importantly, that head seems to have wine-red hair from a mythical world. It's countless times more visually appealing than when he reads a book. Even if it's made from anime, it's not even 1 in 10,000. System Introduction. Abandoned son of Blue Electric King Sect, Strangeness, 22 years old. Soul Power Level 29. Martial Soul Pig, Luo Sanpao. Talent D. Favorite Rating. 0, Inferiority, Jealousy, Contempt, Saint of Martial Soul Temple, Disciple of Pope Qinshuan's Illness, Bibidong, 23 years old. Soul Power Level 68. Martial Soul Death Spider Emperor and Soul Devouring Spider Emperor. Talent. SSS. Likelihood. 50, Slightly disliked, Qin Xian sighed in his heart. Undoubtedly, she is the only woman in Douluo continent who became a god alone without the guidance of her predecessors. This talent. Even Qian Renxue, who possesses divine-level martial souls and innate soul power of level 20 in the future, and Tang San, who has rapidly improved through the author's hanging, are far inferior. But should we say that this favorability is truly like licking a dog to death, licking to the point of having nothing? In front of BB East, I couldn't even reach the passing line. As for the Jade anus, it ages before it ages. As a soul master, its appearance is even older than its actual age. Then, the more insecure you are, the more arrogant you become. It's not surprising that I feel inferior and jealous because of my talent, and instead of catching up with Bibidong, I feel contemptuous. But this age is 23 years old compared to Bibidong, 22 years old compared to Yuxiawanis, and 1 year old compared to Bibidong. Qin Xian vaguely remembers that during the Soul Master competition, Bibidong was around 50 years old, with 1,000 feet of snow and 24 feet of snow, and Tang 35. That is to say, Bibidong gave birth to Qian Renxue at the age of 25.6. Remove October pregnancy. At most, there are still 3 or even 2 years left, and Bibidong will be stronger. It seems that I don't have much time left. Yuxiagan glanced at Bibidong, but smiled casually. She took out a book with the 5 big characters, Top Secret of the Martial Soul Hall, and a 6-winged angel pattern animal skin cover, and watched it quietly. Bibidong wanted to pester him, but without any words, he said, "Little anus, who are you talking about practicing here?" Yuxiawanis closed the book and inexplicably walked to the deep ditch to touch the burnt soil, a jealous light flickering in her eyes. Then he quickly transformed into wisdom and replied, "This ravine should have been carved out by sharp tools, and there are burnt marks on the soil. Combined with the scope of destruction, there should be no accidents. It should be Qin Xian, who was specially accepted as a disciple by the 2 major worshippers, Qianjun and Demon Subduing." Bibidong held his hands and leaned in front of Yu Xiaogan, bringing a gust of incense. His eyes were filled with admiring little stars, and he said, "Wow, Xiaogan is so amazing. Just by leaving traces on the scene, you can infer who moved the hand. I believe you will definitely become a theoretical master in the future." She actually guessed who it was. "I just know that Yu Xiaoanal is insecure and trying to find confidence in him in various ways. The ravine in front of me is clearly caused by sword-like martial souls. There are traces of burning left. Looking at the entire martial soul hall, there is only Qin Xian, the holder of the Changming sword martial soul, who is sealed with the ancient exotic beast vermilion bird and contains the dual attributes of thunder and fire." Hee hee. Yuxianis's stiff face smiled slightly, and a long-lost sense of pride surged in her heart. This is just the most basic theoretical inference. I still have a long way to go before becoming a theoretical master. Just as he was about to answer Bibidong like this, a clear male voice suddenly came from deep in the jungle. "It seems you know a lot." Accompanied by a sound of calm and unhurried footsteps, Qin Xian walked over step by step. "Qin Xian. Why are you here?" Bibidong stood in front of Yuxianis for the first time. The book in his hand was the Top Secret of the Martial Soul Hall, which recorded the biggest secret of the martial soul hall. The six-winged angel martial soul and inherited soul bone angel set were only available for viewing by the Pope and the enshrined. It was he who begged Qianshuan for a long time to obtain the viewing permission. If someone finds out that she secretly brought it out, gave it to Yuxiagan, and sued the Pope, they are afraid that Yuxiagan will not be able to bear it. But at this moment, Yuxianus was completely unaware of it. Out of taking care of Yuxiagan's pitiful self-esteem, Bibidong did not realize the importance of this book. It's just a regular book. Of course. Even if she knew, Yuxiagan wouldn't refuse, at most she would just secretly watch. What do you say? Qin Xian seemed to have overlooked the book in Yu Xiaogan's hand, and looked sideways at the ravine, responding faintly. Bibidong felt that Qin Xian in front of him seemed to have changed a bit. Becoming different from before, no longer showing the same hospitality as before. But she doesn't care either. The top priority is to leave here and not let the other party see the book in Yu Xiaogan's hand. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Fear and Strangeness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Fear and Strangeness. Oh, that's it. Since that's the case, let's not disturb your cultivation. Little anus, let's go. Bibidong gave Yuxiawanus a wink and used his position to clumsily block the book in his hand. Pushing and shoving Yuxianus, wanting to leave. Qin Xian remained calm on the surface and expressionless, but with a suppressed expression in his heart, he stopped them and said, "You're called Yu Xiaogan, right?" The two turned around and Yu Xiaogan stood behind Bibidong. "Yes, I don't know if Lord Qin Xian has any guidance." Yuxianus was able to join the martial soul hall through the back door of Bibidong, and his status was equivalent to nothing. Facing Qin Xian, the second young generation of the martial soul hall, he naturally used a respectful title. Perhaps it's because of Bibidong, or because he comes from the Blue Electric King sect, or both. Between these words, Qin Xian couldn't hear any respect, his face remained calm, and his tone was indifferent. Qin Xian pursed his lips and said, "I can't talk about teaching, but just now I seem to have heard from His Highness the Virgin that you will become a theoretical master in the future. I wonder if it's true or false." Without waiting for Yuxianus to answer, Bibidong seemed to be protecting a calf. He took a step forward and Jiaoying questioned, "Qin Xian, what do you mean?" She was worried that Qin Xian would trigger the sensitive nerves in the Jade anus, hurting the pitiful self-esteem that was optional. For a moment, even the book, Top Secret of the Martial Soul Hall, in Yu Xiaogan's hand was forgotten. Compared to Bibidong, favorability is 0.10, disgust. Upon hearing that Bibidong's favorability towards him had decreased, Qin Xian didn't care either. "It's nothing, I just want to ask this future theoretical master a few questions. Although I liked Bibidong in my past life, I also craved her body. But Qin Xian doesn't have the habit of being a licking dog. If Bibidong had not yet fallen in love with Yuxianus at that time, he would still try to negotiate and have a pleasant conversation with the other party. Move the other person with genuine emotions. Bibidong's heart has already reached Yuxianus, so there is no need to warm your face and stick your buttocks. But it's okay to ask." Yu Xiaogan didn't know his current situation, stood beside Bibidong, gave him a confident look, and then looked directly at Qin Xian, full of confidence. In terms of cultivation talent, he may not be very skilled, but in terms of theory, he has never been afraid of anyone. "I just heard you talking about me. How much do you know about my martial soul?" Qin Xian asked. Yu Xiaogan slightly combed his thoughts and said solemnly, "You, Qin Xian, the martial soul Changming sword. Due to the ancient vermilion bird's internal seal, when you broke through the Soul King at the age of 18, you broke the tradition of only being able to worship one teacher per person in the Douluo continent. You were worshipped by the elder Hall Qianjun and the demon subduing, 2 level 96 super Douluo, and were taken as disciples on an exceptional basis. What about the few worshippers in the Elder's Hall? Qin Xian continued. Yu Xiaogan spoke confidently, with an unusually confident expression on his face. The great offering is 1,000 streams, with a martial soul of 6 winged angels. It is a peerless Douluo at level 99. The second offering is the golden crocodile Douluo, the 98-level peak Douluo, and the martial soul golden crocodile king. 3 offerings of Changming Douluo, the 97-level peak Douluo, and the martial soul Changming. For enshrines of the Xiongshi Douluo, the 97-level peak Douluo, and the martial soul flame Xiongshi. 5 offerings of Guanling Douluo, level 96 peak Douluo, and martial soul Guanling divine Bao. The last 2 are your teachers. They are a pair of brothers, and their martial souls are the coiled dragon sticks that seal the ancient exotic beast's ability to break through evil dragons. With the joint efforts of the 2 brothers, they far surpass the average peak Douluo, and even the great offering cannot easily defeat them. I think the reason why they took you as their disciple out of the ordinary is perhaps because your martial soul is similar to theirs, with the ancient exotic beast, vermilion bird, sealed inside. The above, including the reasons why Qin Xian was unexpectedly accepted as a disciple, were all told to him by Bibidong. Heart said. Is that all? Do you still want to challenge this master? And Bibidong's face was full of worry. Although she is not worldly wise due to being protected too well by Qinshuan disease, she is also a romantic brain. It doesn't mean she's stupid. On the contrary, she is still very intelligent, just doing it knowing it is not possible. When teacher Qiang Sunji told her these things, she said that the 7 worshippers in the Elder Hall are the true essence of the Martial Soul Hall, and information about those 7 worshippers must not be disclosed to anyone. Today, compared to Bibidong, the favorability rating is 0.10, deepening disgust. Qin Xian continued to coax patiently, what about the martial souls under the imperial crown? Little anus, don't pay attention to him. Bibidong knew that if he asked Uzianus to reveal this matter again, he would suffer. He pulled his wrist and wanted to leave. Yu Xiaogan smiled and paused. He knew that Qin Xian also liked Bibidong, thinking that Qin Xian wanted to take the opportunity to test him and make him embarrassed. Unfortunately, Qin Xian miscalculated. His jade anus may be slightly inferior to Qin Xian's 100 million in soul power. But theory. Invincible under heaven. Sooner or later, he will prove to the world that his jade anus is not a waste. It's okay, Bibidong. Since he wants to ask, I can tell him otherwise. I'm afraid he will never give up. Yu Xiaogan turned to look at Qin Xian. The martial soul under the Pope's crown is not a secret in the martial soul hall. He is the son of the great sacrifice, and the martial soul is naturally the 6-winged heavenly envoy. Speaking of this, Yu Xiaogan glanced at the book in his hand and added, at the same time, I also know that there are 6 inherited soul bones in the martial soul hall, called Angel Set, each with a lifespan of up to 99,999 years. People who possess angel martial souls and have been recognized by soul bones are needed to absorb them. It is said that when all 6 soul bones are recognized, one can break through the final limit and become a god at level 100. The Pope, at the age of 50, had already cultivated to the title of Douluo. Since then, he has made breakthroughs one after another. I guess he has fused at least 1 angel suit soul bone, otherwise it would be impossible. As Yu Xiaogan spoke, she felt a bit flustered. He is confident that Qin Xian would never know these theories. A sense of superiority arises in my heart. What if your talent is stronger than mine? What about innate soul power? What about top-level powerful attack weapons and martial souls? Does your theoretical knowledge match that of this master? Above is the voice of Uzianus at this moment. However, Bibidong's heart was half cold. If these words were to fall into the ears of his teacher, the Pope, he was afraid they would cause harm to Uzianus. Pa. Qin Xian applauded and said with a soft smile, he truly deserves to be a theoretical master in the future. He even knows the most important secrets of our martial soul hall, and he even knows much better than my disciple who worships us. A question mark appeared on Uzziah Onal's face, and for a moment, he didn't know what medicine Qin Xian was selling in the gourd. An ominous premonition arose in his heart. Qin Xian, what exactly do you want? Bibidong knew that there was something in Qin Xian's hands today, but she couldn't understand why a person who used to be so kind suddenly changed overnight. Becoming unfamiliar to her made her feel scared. P.S. Seeking collections, seeking recommended tickets, end of this chapter. Chapter 6. Picking up a bowl to eat, putting down a bowl to blame mother. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Picking up a bowl to eat, putting down a bowl to blame mother system prompt. Compared to Bibidong, favorability rating 0.20, fear, unfamiliarity, not much, Qin Xian paid no attention to Bibidong's optional favorability and looked at the book in Yu Xiaogan's hand with profound meaning. Bibidong also followed suit, his pupils contracting instantly, and a hint of panic flashed in his eyes. Yuxiagan, do you know that the so-called theories you just mentioned are not open to the public? Especially the book in your hand is the top secret of the Martial Soul Palace, and even I am not qualified to watch it. Qin Xian's eyes flickered with cold light, and he smiled as he spoke to Uzziah. After speaking, Qin Xian's smile suddenly became dangerous. Compared to Bibidong, the favorability rating is 0.20, and the favorability rating is 0, extremely disgusted, even hostile. Perhaps there is no heavenly way in Douluo continent, but humans in this world still hold a great sense of awe. Even the title Douluo can become a guest of honor for the two empires, let alone related to their own martial souls. If it weren't for you, I would have struck him with a sword as long as he was holding the top secret of the martial soul hall. Do you want to leave now? Qin Xian stopped them. Bibidong knows that today's matter can be big or small, but if she were to be accused to the teacher, or even to the elders' hall, as the first genius of the younger generation in the martial soul hall, she would receive at most a few training sessions and not receive any substantial punishment, but her anus would be miserable. No major force would allow their own secrets to be known by outsiders. Everything you did today was given by the martial soul hall, not by Uzziah. Based on this alone, even if I kill you now, the Pope will not blame me. However, Uzziah remained as cowardly as ever, and even dared not turn back when facing Qin Xian. Since you have enjoyed this privilege, you have the corresponding obligation to safeguard the interests and reputation of the martial soul hall. Upon hearing this, Bibidong put away his martial soul and turned to look at Uzziah. Qin Xian's simple words directly blocked Bibidong's mouth and also forced Uzziah into a blind spot. And Uzziah clenched her fist tightly. The reason why Qin Xian said this is simply because he is unhappy and disgusting. Bibidong Jiao drinks. Unless you swear by your martial soul, if any move is revealed to the outside world and you reveal anything you have seen, heard, or learned in the martial soul hall, your martial soul will be shattered, your body will die and your path will disappear, you will become a useless person, be turned around by others, exterminate your family, and your whole family will perish. Qin Xian, you're going too far. These are all what I told Xiaogan, and it has nothing to do with Xiaogan. If there's anything, I'll take care of it. He only indulged in soft meals all year round, under the protection of the virgin Bibidong, and subconsciously ignored it. Yuxiagan's hair stood on end in an instant, and she quickly collected books and stored them in a soul guide. She pretended to be calm and said, so what? I'm also a part of the martial soul hall. If you only know how to enjoy privileges and turn your elbow outward, in order to maintain Yu Xiaogan's pitiful self-esteem, disregarding the rights and interests of the martial soul hall with your own selfish interests, what is the difference between you and the white-eyed wolf? Qin Xian sneered, this is not the answer I want. Are you a disciple of the Blue Electric Overlord sect? We can leak the top secret of the martial soul hall, and it doesn't conflict. I have nothing to do with the Blue Electric King sect anymore. Strangeness gritted his teeth and held it for a while before finally speaking. Faced with Qin Xian's questioning, he hid behind his back without making any noise. Little Anus never knows, Bibidong answered first. Be decisive and resolute in your attitude. Is that right? Qin Xian sneered and uncovered the scar on Strangeness. I remember you were a disciple of the Blue Electric Bawang sect before, and you were also the legitimate son of the contemporary sect leader Yu Yuanjun. Because of the mutation of the martial soul, you awakened a pig, which made you unable to stay in the Blue Electric Bawang sect and ran to the martial soul hall. The physical pain is no longer important, what is more important is the mental aspect. He once again felt the sense of humility and powerlessness he felt when his family was mocked in the past. Are you sure he won't leak the secrets of the martial soul hall to the Blue Electric Overlord sect or even others in exchange for high officials and high salaries in the future? Do you know that all the intelligence you know is top secret from the martial soul hall? Even some titled Douluo elders may not know all of it. This is an indelible rule no matter which world it is placed in. The Holy Highness in my mind is not the one who picks up a bowl to eat and puts it down to curse. Why, do you even think that he will leak the secrets of the martial soul hall in the future? Moreover, Your Highness, you should straighten your identity, awaken your martial soul, cultivate you, and provide you with the opportunity to grow up. What gives you a high status is the martial soul hall. Bibidong stood in front of Yu Xiaogan and defended, that's all from the past. Xiaogan is now a part of the martial soul hall, just like us. And his martial soul is Luo Sanpao, the cute Luo Sanpao, not a pig. As the son of the contemporary head of the Blue Electric Overlord sect, how could you Xiaogan not know the importance of the power and heritage? If it were leaked, it would not be called heritage. Oh, no, 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 just saying, I don't know, is not enough. Even if I don't know now, what about the day in the future? Qin Xian playfully said, a person who can easily betray even his own family is not worthy of trust. Is more difficult to understand. This is an extremely cowardly, insecure, arrogant, timid, and selfish person. Qin Xian glanced sideways at the Jade anus behind Bibidong and said, you don't even need a woman to answer questions for you, do you? After looking at Bibidong and then at Qin Xian, he took a deep breath and timidly said, I don't know. Upon hearing this, Bibidong saw 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 2 black. The 6 soul rings instantly exploded, and behind him appeared a huge black spider phantom. He put on a posture and looked alert, I don't want you to harm your anus. Then let him answer me, Qin Xian said calmly. There is no intention of taking action, even if he does, he cannot fight. Give full play to the style of external weakness and internal punches. At this moment, the fists inside the sleeves of Strangeness were tightly clenched, and her nails were completely ingrained in her flesh without realizing it. I know, isn't it just a farting pig? Qin Xian said, but he's also a disciple of Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex, isn't he? Today is really unlucky. She has suffered so much injustice for nothing. With her insecure and kind nature, she must feel very uncomfortable in her heart. She must comfort her well to help her regain her confidence. What do you want? Even the little anus has already made an oath. Bibidong turned around and glared angrily at Qin Xian. Unfortunately, what she didn't know was that now was the beginning of the nightmare of Yuxianal, and it was a nightmare that would never be erased. Little anus, answer quickly. Say you won't leak the secret. Bibidong turned around and grabbed Strangeness's arm, urging him anxiously. However, this so-called oath is destined not to be followed by Yu Xiaogan. In the end, Strangeness was forced to swear under the gaze of Bibidong in distress and Qin Xian's coercion. If we reveal what we have seen, heard, and learned in the martial soul hall, our whole family will die. The martial soul is shattered, the body dies and the path disappears, becoming a useless person and being reincarnated. Alright, I've made the oath too. I'll return the book later. Don't bother us again in the future. Bibidong looked at Qin Xian with disgust, grabbed Uzaianus, and turned around wanting to leave. Not much, Qin Xian smiled and silently thought to himself, binding the system. P.S. Signed the contract, requesting collection, requesting recommendation tickets, requesting monthly tickets, and adding one change. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. I'm going to die. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. I'm going to die. Ding. Congratulations to the host for binding the opposing character Yuxiagan, congratulations to the host for binding the goddess Bibidong. Blind box rewards and emotions are right in front of us. Please continue to work hard. What do you want? Bibidong's face was full of vigilance. I don't want to do anything. I just want to talk to you alone about something. Qin Xian pointed to the depths of the jungle. Jade little anal complaint plus 888. Don't be fooled by Bibidong. Yu Xiaogan glanced at the depths of the jungle, his heart trembling, and quickly grabbed Bibidong's hand. Deep voice blocking. Although he didn't know what Qin Xian had in mind, there was a sinister feeling that something was about to be lost. As the Soul King, Qin Xian's ear power was so amazing that he sneered, "Why don't you think I will do something to your Highness the Holy Maiden? Or, if your Highness the Holy Maiden is not by your side, you will lack a sense of security. Do you need a woman to protect you? No wonder our future theoretical master is so cowardly. He's already in his 30s, and he's afraid of me, a 19-year-old and a half-year-old child." This was said to Yu Xiaogan, with an undisguised sarcasm and a strange aura in his voice. Jade little anal complaint plus 1888, Yuxiawanus grabbed Bibidong's hand, her glass heart was touched, her fingers slowly loosened, her face full of decadence and unwillingness, as well as a hint of indescribable resentment. Don't worry, little anus. In the martial Soul City, no one dares to harm me yet. Bibidong patted Uzaianus's hand and returned with a reassuring look. His beautiful eyes turned to Qin Xian, and his pupils suddenly became cold. Moreover, he doesn't have this ability. Upon hearing this, Yu Xiaogan felt a little better and comforted himself. Yes, Qin Xian was just a mere Soul King, and Bibidong was the Soul Emperor, with talent above the former. As long as Bibidong refused, Qin Xian could not force Bibidong to do anything. Let's go. Qin Xian had no interest in continuing to argue with Uzaianus and turned to walk towards the jungle. He can't wait to open the blind box. Bibidong followed closely behind. The two walked in front of each other, and after a moment, Uzaianus could no longer see their figures. Qin Xian looked around and made sure there was no one, then he stopped walking. Tell me, what exactly do you want? Bibidong said impatiently. For the sake of Yuxiawanus, she has already prepared to spend money and avoid disasters. Whether it's a gold soul coin or a soul guide, even a soul bone, with the teacher's love for her, can falsely claim to need it and beg for a piece. At that time, both sides will have leverage over each other, and no one can threaten anyone. I'm about to die. Qin Xian turned around, his face still calm, but his words were astonishing. What? Bibidong was taken aback for a moment, then reacted, what exactly is going on? Likelihood plus 10, confusion, compared to Bibidong. Can this also increase favorability? Qin Xian tugged at the corner of his mouth, almost breaking his mark. It must have been so many years. You should know my feelings for you. I know, but you should also be able to see it. Bibidong glanced sideways at the direction of Uzaianus, her pretty face flushed with a hint of guilt, and said, what I like is Uzaianus. Compared to Bibidong's favorability plus 10, guilt, compared to Bibidong's favorability plus 10, guilt, recalling the little moments they spent together before encountering Yu Xiaogan, Bibidong's liking for each other continued to increase, but stopped when it reached 60, as a friend. 60 to 70 are friends. Friends are above 70, and lovers are not yet full. Love over 80. 90 or above can get married and have children. 100 until death. Douluo continent is like this, almost the vast majority of female soul masters are very specialized. Once they identify with one person, they will not fall in love with the second one, and their eyes are full of him. This also leads to the fact that almost the vast majority of female soul masters in Douluo continent have romantic brains. And Bibidong's favorability towards Strangeness is at least 80% or higher. I know. So I requested marriage from the Pope's crown. Qin Xian once again threw a heavy bomb. What, how can you do this? Qin Xian, I tell you, I will never agree. I will never like you. Besides my little anus, I can't accommodate anyone else in my heart. Upon hearing this, Bibidong immediately became anxious. The guilt came and went faster. The favorability instantly returns to zero. With Qin Xian's background and talent, looking at the younger generation of the martial soul hall, I'm afraid there's no one more suitable than him. Of course, these are all based on the fact that his teacher Qinshuan Ji is a normal person. Also, she doesn't like Qin Xian, she only likes Strangeness. Compared to Bibidong, the favorability rating is 0.60, absolute disgust, even hatred. Don't worry, the Pope rejected me on the spot. Qin Xian's expression remained the same, but his heart was speechless. This woman's face-changing speed was really outrageous. Upon hearing this, Bibidong lightly caressed her chest with her jade hand, and her heart instantly breathed a sigh of relief. However, before she could be happy, Qin Xian's words once again plunged her into silence. So I make a request to the Pope's crown prince. Qin Xian didn't show any further interest and began to talk nonsense. I plan to go to the capital of slaughter. As long as I can come out and obtain the domain of killing gods, the Pope's crown prince will agree to our marriage. Bibidong lowered his eyes, his gaze complex, and he remained silent for a long time before lifting his eyes and sighing, "Is it worth it for you to do this?" Like Qinshuan Ji, Bibidong also did not believe that Qin Xian had the ability to leave the capital of slaughter. Don't talk about him anymore. Even Bibidong himself does not have this confidence. The last person to step out of the capital of slaughter was Tang Hao, who was hailed as the immortal genius of the Haotian sect for 100 years, a few years ago. And the other party is still 26 years old, with several soul bones and soul power not inferior to their own. On the other hand, Qin Xian. Soul power is only level 54, and there is no soul bone. How can one leave the capital of slaughter? This trip to the capital of slaughter resulted in 10 deaths and no life. There's nothing worth it or not. If I can't get your love, then what's the point of continuing to live? Qin Xian possessed the essence of the play and looked at Bibidong with deep affection, shedding tears that had been brewing for a long time. It seems that Qin has the potential to become an actor. Likelihood rate of Bibidong plus 65 at this moment. Bibidong is innocent and romantic, pure and flawless, and kind. It's not yet the crazy child of the Pope who has been strengthened by Chihiro's illness, bewitched by the Rakshasa god, and constantly thinking about destroying the martial soul hall in the future. Watching Qin Xian, who used to silently follow behind and like him, reveal his true feelings and about to die, Bibidong's heart suddenly softened. At this moment, after laying the groundwork for so long, Qin Xian finally revealed his fangs. He walked to the east of Bibi and placed his right hand on Bibi's shoulder. "Can you promise me something before going to the capital of slaughter?" The two stood face to face, and Qin Xian was nearly 1.9 meters tall, much higher than Bibidong. Bibidong could only look up at the face that was somewhat demonic due to the influence of his martial soul. Very handsome. The distance was so close, and the ambiguous atmosphere quietly filled the air. Even Bibidong, who had a crush on him, was momentarily lost in thought. "I don't know when, the annoying follower who followed me back then has grown up." End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Revealing Fangs. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 8 Revealing Fangs. Perhaps out of guilt or other reasons, Bibidong, for the first time, did not object to Qin Xian's intimate behavior and nodded to shift his gaze away from the latter, saying, "You say. Likelihood rate of Bibidong plus 5 ding, congratulations to the host for achieving a positive rating of 70% compared to Bibidong. Just a little short, you can obtain the blind box. Please continue to work hard, host. Keep hammering harder." Qin Xian rolled his eyes in his heart. Bibidong is not a casual woman. It is extremely difficult to achieve 71. I know the danger of this trip, almost 10 deaths without any life. I don't have any hope for it, just don't want to leave any regrets. Qin Xian said passionately, "Can you give me a hug before I die?" Just hugging, never doing anything. Double negation. No, Bibidong was about to agree, but soon the figure of Strangeness came to mind. Suddenly push Qin Xian away and take a few steps back. Keep a distance from Qin Xian. Qin Xian, from the perspective of our childhood acquaintance, I can help you with anything you want, and even ask the teacher for a soul bone to increase the chance of breaking out of the city of slaughter, but this is not possible. As Qin Xian had thought, Bibidong was not a woman of easy nature, but rather very conservative. Even the romantic partner Strangeness is only in the stage of holding hands, how could she agree to embrace Qin Xian? Why, can't we even embrace each other after so many years of love? Qin Xian began to morally kidnap. It is impossible for Bibidong to seek the soul bone from Qianxuanji. On the contrary, once Bibidong goes, not only will the soul bone not be found, but Qianxuanji will also feel that something has happened to the two of them. He may not be able to resist finding someone on the way to the capital of slaughter and secretly kill himself. Bibidong hesitated a bit and was caught in a huge entanglement in his heart. "Don't worry, I won't touch anything. It's just a simple hug, just a thought." Qin Xian was gentle and seductive, like an evil uncle who abducted a simple little girl. "All right then," Bibidong finally let go, his face tinged with a blush. "But as agreed beforehand, it's just a simple hug. You can't touch or tell the little anus. Also, you have to keep it a secret for me about that book." After speaking, Qin Xian suddenly stepped forward and hugged her. A strong masculine aura rushed towards her, and Bibidong shyly closed his eyes. Immediately after, the lips became moist. Bibidong's beautiful eyes widened instantly. Bang, the next second, if struck by lightning, the brain will instantly go blank. Qin Xian, on the other hand, looked back at the wilderness where Bai Yi had survived in his past life due to being well protected by Qianxuan disease. Bibidong has never had a wilderness survival experience before. He would feel tired holding hands with Yuxiagan and walking on ordinary roads. How could it be that Qin Xian, who has admired countless opponents of Bai Yi's survival in the wilderness? It is clear at a glance which one is better or worse. Wait for Bibidong to react. Everything is over. Qin Xian has already walked half the way to survive in the wilderness, almost one step to the finish line. Favorite rating plus 10 compared to Bibidong, ding, Bibidong has a liking rating of over 70. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a silver blind box. Favorite rating plus 10 compared to Bibidong, ding, Bibidong has a liking rating of over 80. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a golden blind box. Likelihood rate of Bibidong plus 5 ding, Bibidong has a positive rating of over 90. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a golden blind box. Compared to Bibidong, the favorability rating has decreased to 0.45, and the favorability rating has decreased to 50, angry. Please continue to work hard. Ah. Bibidong exclaimed, this is purely driven by anger. I have never encountered such a thing before. Qin Xian is really despicable. I just agreed to accompany him to watch the wilderness for survival, but I didn't agree to participate. Even if nothing really happened between the two sides, Qin Xian's action was enough to make people blush and feel extremely angry, wishing to kill someone. From the past to the present, Bibidong has been walking on the Douluo continent, claiming to be the first genius of the martial soul hall. She is exceptionally talented, and no one has ever treated her like this. Even the most outstanding disciples of the two great empires and the 7 major sects in the world admired her, but she was still highly respected. Even the Jade little anus she admired dared not touch, and every time she held hands, she needed to take the initiative. Fear and shrink back. Bang! Bibidong was both shy and angry, and came to his senses. His slender body was stretched straight, with a translucent white and purple luster. Suddenly, a soul power of up to 68 levels erupted. Qin Xian is just a soul king, and with a difference of more than 10 soul power levels, he is no match for Bibidong. In just an instant, it was violently lifted by the raging waves. But it wasn't unprepared either. My body spun a few times in the air, my feet landed on the ground, and I plowed backwards for several meters, barely stopping my body. Sorry, Sister Donger, I couldn't help it just now. You also know my feelings for you. Qin Xian quickly apologized as soon as he saw it. He knew that Bibidong was a ruthless person. Although he had briefly won her heart, if he really forcibly pulled her to survive in the wilderness. I'm afraid I'll be killed immediately. But he was not discouraged either. Although his favorability returned to before the liberation, he was able to obtain 3 blind boxes, and his goal had been achieved. And it was still over-completed. Likelihood rate of Bibidong plus 25 Sister Donger. Bibi's willow eyebrows turned upside down, recalling our past acquaintance and recalling Qin Xian's upcoming journey to the capital of slaughter. His anger dissipated slightly, and he covered his snow-white collar, angrily saying, "Bastard, take a look. What have you done?" Although the anger dissipated slightly, it was only a little. At most, it means not killing anyone. In front of the world, she is the darling of the martial soul hall and the beauty of the bell spirit in the world. Even if she looks across the Douluo continent, there will never be anyone who has the talent to surpass her, even the so-called first genius of the Haotian sect in 100 years. Just for safety reasons, she needs to conceal her twin martial soul talent. But it was this talented and noble heavenly fairy girl that Qin Xian took advantage of, and it was not an ordinary advantage. Uncle can tolerate it, aunt can tolerate it, but sister cannot tolerate it. She must teach this disciple a good lesson today. She covered the messy collar with her left hand, raised her right hand, and her bare arms were white and sparkling with beauty. The soul power in her palm was swallowed, creating a purple mist and striking Qin Xian. Bang! Qin Xian narrowly escaped on his side. A tree with a head thick and thin was cut off by the waist behind it. Bibidong did not summon a martial soul, so Qin Xian naturally would not summon a martial soul, let alone foolishly take her soul emperor-level palm. I can't hold it anymore. Fighting with a fool is crazy, fighting with a madman is stupid, fighting with a woman is both crazy and foolish. Qin Xian believes himself to be a smart person, and he doesn't die endlessly. He wouldn't be a fool or a lunatic. However, Bibidong is so proud, always spotless, with a terrible obsession with cleanliness that no one is allowed to desecrate. Even the Jade anus stops at holding hands. The purple light on the right palm dazzled, and Bibidong once again attacked Qin Xian. The speed is so fast that it pulls out purple light snakes in the air. P.S. Third shift, seeking recommended tickets, seeking monthly tickets the reset version, everyone understands. There were some minor issues with the original version. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Angry Little Anal, seeking monthly pass. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Angry Little Anal, seeking monthly pass. Although Bibidong's strength is superior to Qin Xian in all aspects, his movements are limited and some cannot be used when he needs to cover the messy collar with his left hand. Qin Xian narrowly avoided it. Hey, Sister Donger, if you don't stop, you'll be leading someone over. Qin Xian dodged while licking his face. So what? I want to see if they are listening to you or me, and then they can still catch you. Bibidong accelerated his attack. Of course they will listen to you, but is it really good to be seen in your current appearance? Qin Xian jumped back and made several backflips in the air, landing on a big tree and distancing himself from Bibidong. Looking at each other from afar. Bibidong's messy and wrinkled collar and slightly messy hair, how do you look at them? What's wrong? Qin Xian added, moreover, you don't want this matter to be known to others, do you? As soon as he said this, Bibidong looked like a deflated ball, his face turning blue and purple. After holding it for a while, he finally managed to say, if you dare to reveal this, I'll kill you. Of course, I still want to live out of the city of slaughter and marry you. Qin Xian had a playful smile on his face, but his expression was thought-provoking. Bibidong's pretty face was covered in a blush and she angrily said, damn it, you can't imagine that I will never marry you. Also, you must keep the little anal matter confidential, otherwise I will still kill you. Yes, it is. My Holy Highness. There's nothing to do, so I'll leave first. Otherwise, I'll be discovered later. I don't care, I'm a dying person. You're just a loser. TSK. Qin Xian exclaimed, he was still busy going to open the blind box. Wait a moment. Qin Xian was about to leave, and a twisted voice from Bibidong sounded in his ear. What's wrong? Don't die in the capital of slaughter. Qin Xian smiled and said, why, are you worried that no one will marry you after I die? Bibidong secretly spat at Qin Xian for being shameless and not angry. After all, the two of them had known each other since childhood and said with some sadness, I just feel that if you die, then in the martial soul hall, besides my little anus, I have no other friends. Qin Xian gave a mischievous smile and said, I still can't bear to part with you. If he hadn't opened the system, he would still feel that his future was bleak, but now that he has a cheat, the capital of slaughter is imperative. After all, that 10 blazing sun snake elixirs were of great use to him. To some extent, it is even more precious than 100,000-year soul ring, comparable to immortal grass. Can give the vermilion bird sealed in his martial soul the possibility of evolution. Bah, stop dreaming. What I like is my little anus. If you dare to mention this again, you don't have to go to the capital of slaughter. I'll kill you now. Bibidong spoke as 6 soul rings, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 2 black, rose from his feet, ready to summon the Death Spider Emperor. Qin Xian quickly admitted, don't say goodbye, I can't beat you. Bibidong has a death realm, and the strength difference between soul masters with and without a realm is still significant, let alone the huge difference in soul power between the two. It is equivalent soul power, before the cheat is converted into strength. He is not even confident in defeating the twin martial soul genius that Douluo continent deserves. Since that's the case, why don't you get out of here quickly? Bibidong blushed and said angrily, you must rot in your stomach today. Otherwise, even if you die in the capital of slaughter, I will pull you out and whip the corpse in the future. Then I'll take your good words. Qin Xian left with a smile. The two of them experienced this farce, which can be considered as a way to dispel their past grievances. At the same time, Qin Xian realized that Bibidong, who had not been blackened, was really easy to coax. Although somewhat arrogant, she is innocent, kind, cute, and silly. Before awakening memories, why did my predecessor foolishly act like a licking dog? If there were such means now, there would be no problem with Yuxiawanis. Alas, we can only take one step and see another. Qin Xian left. The forest has returned to tranquility. This bastard. Why did he change so much overnight? Is this the real him? Bibidong was extremely angry and stomped his feet hard, sorting his clothes while muttering. He recalled the scene of being ambushed by Qin Xian earlier, his cheeks burning fiercely. Perhaps even she didn't realize that compared to the past, licking dogs, Qin Xian now is not as repulsive as she imagined. The words are divided into two parts, and Uzianus is in a miserable situation. Regarding Qin Xian's liking for Bibidong, as a scheming boy of the generation, how could Yu Xiaogan not know? It's just that in the past, Bibidong was tightly controlled by him, giving whatever he wanted and almost responding at will. On the other hand, he disdains other members of the opposite sex, even Qin Xian. Yu Xiaogan did not believe that Qin Xian could pose a threat to him. At the same time, this is also the capital for him to be praised and handle things calmly in front of Qin Xian. Whenever someone disrespects him, Bibidong will stand on his side. After comparing Bibidong and Qin Xian drilling through the small forest, it was different. Uzianus began to feel anxious and uneasy. Although he still didn't think Qin Xian could snatch Bibidong from his own hands, he was not afraid of 10,000, just in case. Especially when the other party has a handle, what if Bibidong compromises because of himself? Thinking of this, a nameless flame surged in Yu Xiaogan's heart, with 100,000 Kaonama stepping over, feeling green and lush above her head. Jade anal complaint plus 2888, Jade anal complaint plus 2776, I wanted to follow and check, but as soon as I stepped forward, I hesitated. Uzianus is such a person who is insecure, arrogant, selfish, self-centered, yet extremely cowardly. A scumbag who can abandon his wife on the night of his wedding and run away alone for 20 years, can be imagined how ugly and unbearable his inner self is. Amidst the entanglement, footsteps could be heard from deep in the jungle. Upon hearing this, Yu Xiaogan thought it was Bibidong and was instantly overjoyed. Bibidong, Yu Xiaogan suddenly looked up and his voice abruptly stopped. Qin Xian walked out of the courtyard leisurely. When he saw Yu Xiaogan and checked his emotional value, it was already over 10,000. He was overjoyed and heard Yu Xiaogan say, Qin Xian, why are you the only one, Bibidong? What do you call me? Also, is the name of your highness the Holy Maiden something that your local librarian can call me? Qin Xian smiled and said to Yu Xiaogan, giving her a commanding hand as soon as she arrived. Yu Xiaogan's face slightly changed, and he suppressed his unwillingness and anger in his heart. He changed his tone and said, Lord Qin Xian, why hasn't your highness the Holy Maiden come with you? The whereabouts of her highness the Virgin are not something that you, as a little servant or librarian, can speculate on. Just wait here and see. At any time, you must figure out your position and weigh your weight. If you dare to break the oath you made earlier, I will definitely keep it. Also, Qin Xian said, placing his right hand on Yu Xiaoan's shoulder and whispering softly in his ear, which only two people could hear. No one knows what he said in Uzian's ear, but Uzian's anger instantly reached its peak. End of this chapter. Chapter 10 Jade Little Anal. Don't bully people like that. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Jade Little Anal. Don't bully people like that. Yu Xiaogan's complaints plus 8888, Uzianus was taken aback, and, you, clenched your fists. The pupils immediately contracted, gritted your teeth, and your eyes were about to crack. Humiliation, an unprecedented humiliation. The bastard in front of me insulted me repeatedly, that's all. Surprisingly, he even challenged his dignity as a man. Yu Xiaogan's complaints plus 18888, this emotional value. Sure enough, it must be you, little anus. Not bad, just as you think. Qin Xian smiled and let go of Uzianus's shoulder. What, you're not convinced? Do you want to take action? Yu Xiaogan didn't say anything, just his eyes were bloodshot, staring at Qin Xian intently. Hands on. Use your farting pig to kill me. With a crisp sound, Qin Xian gave Uzianus a moderate ear scraping. Uzianus remained unmoved, his gaze still fixed on Qin Xian, with red circles around his eyes. Qin Xian was overjoyed. He had seen someone who was cowardly, but he had never seen someone who was so cowardly. The other person even stepped on their head and defecated and urinated, but they could still endure it like this. Yu Xiaojiang's complaints plus 28888, pop 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 pop. Qin Xian shook off several big-eared melon seeds from him one after another. My hands can't stop at all. A few moments later, the corner of Yu Xiannis's mouth was bleeding, and the left half of her face was swollen, covered in palm prints, like a meat bun. It wasn't until a slow sound of footsteps came from the jungle that Qin Xian stopped. Pooh, you're such a coward. Qin Xian spat a mouthful of saliva on Yu Xiannis's face, mixed with blood and water at the corner of his mouth. Then he grabbed the hand of Yu Xiannis and made a gesture of himself wanting to slap his big-eared melon seeds. Yu Xiaogan looked behind Qin Xian and saw Bibidong returning, as if he had found a savior. He didn't know where the courage came from, so he wanted to resist. But Qin Xian said, Yuxiagan, you don't want to be executed by the Pope for peeking at the top secret of the Martial Soul Hall. That way, you will never be able to prove yourself again and can only be a waste for a lifetime. You were stabbed in the soft rib, and the circles around her anus turned red. She couldn't hold on anymore, and tears welled up in her eyes, streaming down with a splash. Qin Xian lowered his voice and said, What are you? You grind and chirp, cry and cry, like a woman. I tell you, if you don't want to die, just cooperate with me. Otherwise, even if the old dragon of the Blue Electric Overlord sect comes, it won't be able to protect you. I think you already know the strength of the Martial Soul Hall, so there's no need for me to say more. The Blue Electric King sect claims to be the upper three sect, but in reality, apart from the old dragon, it's nothing. With just my two teachers, I can destroy your entire Blue Electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family. Also, Jiajiajia's little anus, you don't want His Highness the Holy Maiden to know that I have a cowardly appearance of not fighting back or scolding you. In this way, your image in His Highness the Holy Maiden's mind will be completely destroyed. Can you still stay in the Martial Soul Hall without the protection of His Highness the Holy Maiden? Can you still become a theoretical master without staying in the Martial Soul Hall and having sufficient information and data support? Qin Xian asked several questions on his face, gradually breaking through the psychological defense line of Yu Xiannis. Although the emotional value is good, it still needs to flow slowly. If Bibidong finds out that he bullies Yu Xiannis, then it will be difficult to learn from Prime Minister Chao. At this moment, Bibidong finally walked over. Qin Xian pretended not to notice Bibidong's appearance and grabbed Yu Xiaogan's hand, which was about to slap him. He earnestly dissuaded him, saying, Oh, Senior Yu Xiaogan, how could you do this? I have already promised His Highness the Virgin that I will not report it. Why harm myself so much? Upon hearing this, Bibidong looked puzzled and approached Yuxiagan's face, which had been fanned into a pig's head. Feeling both heartbroken and angry, he suddenly erupted and said, Xiaogan, what's wrong with you? What exactly happened? Yu Xiaogan saw Qin Xian's threatening gaze staring at him, and his words immediately froze. Qin Xian smiled in his heart and turned to explain in a tea-like tone, Your Highness, this is the saint. When I came out of the woods just now, I saw the little anal master slapping himself. I only found out when I asked, he felt like he had implicated you and slapped himself with self-blame. Yuxiagan is Bibidong's theoretical mentor. To some extent, it's not a problem for Qin Xian to call Yuxiagan Xiaogan a mentor, but this is the first time someone has called Yuxiagan that way. But he was not at all happy. Is it like this, little anus? Bibidong asked with some suspicion. For Qin Xian's words, Bibidong neither believed them nor fully believed them. Although beauty was in the eyes of lovers, she also knew what virtue Yu Xiannis was. Although she was somewhat insecure, as a member of the Blue Electric Overlord sect, she was inherently proud. It is extremely difficult to do things like slapping oneself. Uzianus really wants to answer no, he really wants to answer that it was Qin Xian who did it. Thinking of Qin Xian's threat, he took a deep breath as if he had given up and said, "It's like this. I'm sorry for you." Qin Xian stood beside him, feeling heartbroken and distressed, saying, "Little anal master, look at you. What should I say about you? I have already said that I will not report to the Pope's crown, nor will I report to the Pope's crown. In the future, as long as you no longer have access to the secrets of the Martial Soul Hall, any other theories will be up to you. Why don't you believe it? Look at what you've done to yourself. Don't you know, Your Highness the Virgin will worry about you. How could you be so shameless?" Yuxiao's anus instantly turned red, and after holding it for a while, she couldn't utter a complete sentence. He has seen shameless people, but he has never seen such shameless people before. His ability to open his eyes and tell lies is simply stronger than his own. Today, he can be considered to have learned. Holding the handle in the other person's hand, he could only break his teeth and swallow it into his stomach. Bibidong didn't know what had happened, and hearing their words completely dispelled his suspicion. "Little anus won't deceive me, it seems that Qin Xian didn't do it. Yeah, little anus, you can't hurt yourself like this again in the future." Also, Bibidong looked at Qin Xian, recalling the scene of being ambushed not long ago. Her beautiful and perfect face flashed a sudden blush. "Thank you, Qin Xian. No matter whether you can leave that place or not, you will always be my friend." Bibidong felt a little more guilty towards Qin Xian while feeling shy. Heart said, "Although I like small anus, Qin Xian is willing to venture into the capital of slaughter for me. How can I doubt them for no reason? It's really unacceptable." Favorite rating of Bibidong +1 ding, congratulations to the host. Bibidong's favorability has reached 71, achieving the achievement of friend first, lover not yet full. Please continue to work hard. That was really an unexpected joy. It seemed like we were one step closer to someone in Qin, Natuyuzianus. Qin Xian was delighted in his heart and smiled, "You are the same. With your words, even if there are many difficulties and obstacles ahead, I will come out." End of this chapter.